What's going on, guys? So we have a lot of stuff coming up this week. We have a lot of Fed speakers. We have opex on Friday, and we have some earnings coming up. Earnings season is basically around the corner, right? We have Tesla on October 18th, Netflix on October 18th, Apple and Nvidia are going to be later on in November, but Amazon is October 26th, Meta is October 25th, and then we have Microsoft October 24th. So for the next 2 weeks, I have to be very, very patient and picky with the type of setups that I'm going to be taking. So, right, Lockheed Martin, October 17th. This is probably going to be a bullish earnings, Lockheed Martin, just because of everything going on with the Israel situation. And we have Google on October 24th, banks as well coming up this week. So, like I said, I'm going to be very picky with my trades this week and the next week. If I do not trade, it's because I do not want to get caught up in a lot of these, sideways movements, or if there isn't anything high probability, then I won't be taking it, and you guys shouldn't either. But I will be going over some setups that I am looking at. So let's start off with QQQ. As you guys can see, we had this trend line right here. It rejected perfectly, literally right off of it. 1, 2, 3. We got rejected off that area. Before we broke out, as you guys can see, before we broke out to the upside, this was the top of the range right here, as you guys can see. It was kind of like from 362, like this whole zone right here, this whole area that every time we came up here, we got rejected, right? And then you guys can see once we broke above it, we held above it. So we're holding, now as right now, we're coming back down into that level. I want to see a clean break and retest below that for a move back down into 360. And then below that, let's see what we got, right? Yeah, there's probably going to be some type of like price action in this area. Might try to hold that area, so it's could be a potential bounce. But let's look at some of these levels. This was a level on Friday I was looking at for shorts to the downside, and we broke below it perfectly. The top of this range is going to be this area. So this is what the game plan to the upside would be. If we reclaim this area, this 368, I will be looking for longs up into 371, potential rejects up here as well. Right, but I don't know. I really don't see that happening. Maybe after earnings or Fed speakers, that's definitely a potential move. But those are levels to pay attention to if we do go to the upside, right? For the downside, below these levels, a break and retest, probably below that 363, 361.5 will get us a move down to 360. And then we got room down to like this 358 area. And then the bottom of the range is going to be around this area. It's kind of a tough area to get since it bounced off of multiple areas down here. There was a lot of, it's probably gonna be this area or this area. Yeah, it's actually gonna be this area down here because I remember this correlates with 14,600 on the NASDAQ, but definitely pay attention to this 354. If we can get a flush, it's pretty much a move down to there. There's gonna be lows in between, but it's a tough range to trade in below in this area. So in order for me to trade this range, I have to see very, very clean price action below these levels. Let's go into SPY real quick. SPY, very similar. This 432 area is a key level from all the way back here. And notice how it holds as demand, right? We get below it, it holds as supply. So any type of pullback, this looks a little bit cleaner as far as setup wise. Type of pullback into 432 could be a nice reject for a move back down into 430 and 428. Below 430 should get us to 428. And then below 428, these are the levels. These levels look a lot cleaner than QQQ. So below 428, 425.8, 424.3, and then the bottom of the range is going to be down here around 420. If you guys remember that daily 200 simple moving average, which we did hold here, right? We got rejected pretty with some strong selling pressure on Friday. So you guys see the volume. Then we should start to have we should start to have room down to these areas. So those are going to be the levels, right? As far as upside, not too interested unless we reclaim some of these levels up here. Probably like this 434 should get us a move back up into the top around that 437, right? So we'll see what happens. It's probably gonna be this trend line we could potentially use. We'll see though. But yeah, that's gonna be the game plan for SPY and Qs. Should be interesting. Apple, I will be looking for a potential reject. This one actually looks pretty good. A potential reject around this 179 point, around 180, right? 179.6 to 180. This was a previous area that has multiple reactions in here as a supply, and we're currently below it. We have a fib retracement in confluence. So this 179.6 to 180 looks like a good potential reject zone. Probably back down to this 177.6. And below that, we have room down to 175.8 and then down to 174. Those are the levels for Apple. Definitely looks like we're getting some downward movements. Amazon got rejected pretty aggressive as well. Not really liking anything too much yet for Amazon. And here comes Microsoft as well. These are the levels we were watching from last week to the upside. We're approaching them again. This area, I'd keep an eye on this level, but as far as setups wise, nothing that I really like there just yet. Nvidia is getting interesting. Probably a move right back down to 443. Like last week, we got this on point, right above this 450, room to 460, 470. That was pretty on point. This week, chip stocks like Nvidia and AMD, they look a little bit weaker. As you guys can go back to AMD. This is a setup that I actually like, right? Same thing as last week. I said a break and retest above 105 gives us room to 108, 109, and 110. That was pretty on point. Now we're coming back to this trend line where we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we are on the fifth touch. If this breaks and retests 105, this is going to be a nice move down into 103 and potentially back down to 100. So this is a setup that I like the most out of a lot of these. Apple and AMD should be top watch. Meta, I like a reject around this 318. So AMD and Meta are top watches again for this week because they're very similar levels as last week, and those are very well respected levels. So 318 reject. Let's see if we have any confluence with that area. Recent high to recent low. Not exactly. Not exact confluence, but that is a setup that I will pay attention to, this 318. Google's still in this range. If Google gets below this 136.6, room down into 135 area, yeah, 135.5. Tesla has earnings this week, so it could be, the premiums might be a little bit expensive on this. We'll see how this plays out. 250 is a key level. If it breaks below 250, it has nothing but room down into 243. So definitely keep that on watch. All right, we just broke this trend line as well. Other than that, keep it simple. Netflix is pretty weak overall. It's been weak for a while now. But yeah, that's gonna cover the Sunday watch list. Don't want to make it too long. Just want to let you guys know that I am gonna be pretty picky with the setups that I'm taking this week, and just to make sure you guys are aware of the upcoming events that are happening, right? So I hope you guys have a great trading week. And if I see any setups throughout the midweek, then I will definitely be letting you guys know. Also, one more thing. Tomorrow I am dropping the Market Mastery Blueprint. I'm going to be posting the link in the bio. So make sure to click that link so that you guys can get access to it. I literally cover everything in there from price action, how I cover some of these setups, and just overall trying to help you guys become independent traders. A lot of my strategies are in there, strategies that I do not post on my Instagram. So with that being said, I will post a link in the description. Make sure you guys go check that out.